Deary me, somebody has to do this kind of videos. It has to be the LUI. Secondly, the game. It is the game of bodybuilding. Thirdly, a monumental, titanic collision between two blonde guys. This Brit right here, Dorian Yates, are from the UK, 6 times Mr. Olympia, versus Cutler from the USA, bro. These guys, I mean, they're one of the greatest Mr. Olympias. Jay won it 4 times though. So let's compare them to see how they fare one versus the other. Well, this is the front lat spread. It's just as a display. In my opinion, rarely guys can get it better than Dorian Yates. For the simple fact, until today when you open up a magazine and a guy knows how to spread them, right, they say it looks Dorian-esque, meaning it resembles that of Dorian. Dorian has it textbook, right? Untouchable. Do not try to compare nobody with him. He gets it when he's on. Hard to touch, right? This here is the side triceps. I'm going to showcase other pictures though. Now you can see here versus Ronnie Coleman and versus also Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler gets it really good. I like how he displays his midsection, which is one of the greatest. I mean, Ronnie is out of the picture. He does not get it right. It's all awkward. The thing is, Dorian, it just flows well. His body just, I mean, the side, he gets it just fine. As a matter of fact, his triceps is one of the biggest, and it's just physiologically, I mean, it just looks good. I mean, the heads of the triceps are so full. Even when he lost versus Momo Ben Aziza in 1990 or 1990 in the Night of Champion, his triceps was still the biggest. And trust me, back then he was still small, right? So even versus guys like Kevin Levroni, I mean, this pose is hard to beat when it comes to Dorian. I just like it. In my opinion, it's just superior. One of the best side triceps ever. He knows how to flow basically his chest, the torso, everything is just fine. Plus the triceps heads are just too big, too humongous. So I need to give this pose to Dorian, right? That's what's up. I mean, it's just better in my reckoning. A little bit, but slightly better. There we go. We'll talk about the back. I made videos actually about several backs. You should not discuss this, to be honest with you guys. You can tell me, you can sway between, let's say, Dorian and Ronnie. That's acceptable. But, I mean, Dorian is way superior than Jay Cutler. In my reckoning, Dorian back is the most complete one. Probably not the biggest. Big Ramy is the biggest. And that of Ronnie is bigger as well. But it comes to the very details. The details of this Mr. Olympia, this Brit, are just on another level. I mean, the only guy who showed more detail than him is the guy who has beaten him, this Algerian giant killer, Momo Ben Aziza. And he was one of the only guys who beat him. The other one was Lee Haney with a major back as well. Back lat spread. As I said, the lat spread, it is the very signature pose of Dorian Yates. In his era, I mean, he was smoking Nasser El Somebody, who was bigger than him, just with the back. Because Nasser, may he rest in peace, had no back. The only dude back in the day who was able to box with him when it comes to the back is this Switzman right here from Switzerland, Jean-Pierre Fuchs. Had a marvelous back as well. He was the very only guy that can box from the back with Dorian Yates. This was, a lot of people say it was photoshopped. I don't know. The thing is, his back, don't even discuss about it. The back of Yates is something unique, something special. Midsection though. Midsection is kind of tossable. And this Mr. Olympia, in my reckoning, is the only guy, until we had Big Ramy lately, right? But prior to Big Ramy, he was probably one of the only guys north of 270 who can bring a dice to the socks out of the box midsection. He was killing Ronnie Coleman all day, right? So midsection of Jay is just perfect. I mean, it's like an 8-pack, complete, never had the bubble gut, not even once. And it has to go to him, right? And he was smoking. I mean, Kevin and Ronnie had absolutely no chance whatsoever. The back of Mr. Jay Cutler. This was probably in 2001. A lot of people forget about him. He placed second back then. I think he was disqualified for some substance use, baby please, but nonetheless, Ronnie Coleman was frightened in 2001, right? As a matter of fact, he shared the room of the late Matarazzo, Mike Matarazzo, and when he removed the t-shirt, Mike looked at him. The only thing he told him, bro, you are on. You are on. And believe me, on he was. You can YouTube the 2001 version of Jay Cutler. It was just marvelous. A very sight to be seen. Nonetheless, his back, although he's not from the same level as that of Yates or that of Coleman, but it is top 5. Top 5. All the magazines agree he's definitely top 5 of the world. It's not complete, hindered by some genetic limitations in a sense. You can see those kind of pseudo wrinkles in the back, but they're not wrinkles, it's just skin right there. I mean, they attach like that, but they're just good. Then again, he cannot touch Dorian. Dorian is just another level. But then again, we're talking top 5, neat picking backs of the world, right? This though, we'll come back to it, right? We'll come back to this real quick, because the legs of this gentleman are a sight to be seen, right? The glutes are also not bad, really not bad. But Yates usually, Yates was in the early 90s, right? And back then, there was not that culture of showing the gut, right? The butt, but we'll come back to it. Midsection of Yates is not bad. However, genetically, as you guys can see, it's not as complete as that of Mr. Jay Cutler, right? And starting from 1994, and Sean Ray is my witness, he started to come in a little bit bloated in the midsection. If you ask Dorian Yates what is the best version of your body, he always says 1993, and I agree with him. 94, he had a biceps injury, and then he had a slew of other injuries in the years coming right after. Thing is, as I said, the glutes, he had them, but the culture was not to show the glutes as much as they show them right now. But then again, this is just a statement that his back is just marvelous. His traps are probably the biggest of any Mr. Olympia ever, Ronnie Coleman included. They're just humongous, right? But remember this muscle group downstairs here, namely the calves. We'll come back to it, believe me. This is a statement that, he had those striated glutes, although in the competitions they were not basically showing them in this fashion. But this is a back double biceps. Can you dismiss the fact that those glutes look like freaking butts? Look at the glutes. I mean, glutes for real. I mean, the calves. They're as big as the freaking glutes. They're huge. And by the way, the glutes are the biggest muscle in the human body. Correct me if I'm wrong, last time I checked. But those calves are just huge. One of the biggest ever, compared to that probably of Mike Matarazzo of his time, may he rest in peace. But before him, we probably never seen those kind of humongous calves. There are some occasions when he was posing mainly with his calves. You compare them to that of Ronnie Coleman, it's just another level. That of Ronnie are a little bit high. This is just another side. And this is why I personally prefer the back of Yates. I mean, you see much detail. It looks harder in every instance, in every pose than Ronnie, right? Those are the calves of Mr. Yates. So he smokes Jay Cutler. This should not be a subject of discussion. I mean, sometimes he was posing, as I said, only with the calf. Like nobody does it. Like he comes on stage, like take a look at my calf. It is just humongous. Of any instance, even the front lat spread, you can see them. Look at him, even right now. He does not even lift as usual. He's just seated. But these calves are just legit a sight to be saluted. Proceed though. We went to the lats. Now lats is usually a part of the back posing, but this is just to showcase that. Don't even try to tell me that anybody in the top IFBB history can spread them like Yates. I mean, it's just his signature pose. Google Dorian Yates. Every single picture is just outstanding lats from the back as well. He smokes everybody. You got Colombo, you got Ronnie Coleman, you got Mike Francois. This is Jay Cutler, who is not bad. I mean, look at him. They're just next to the other. The back of Jay Cutler is outstanding. But then again, Yates is just another level. This guy probably is Dennis James. It showcases high lats. It is not on the same level. It is the worst back in this comparison right here. Every pose that he does is just marvelous. Now, this is the famous picture taken in 1993, probably about 6 weeks prior to Mr. Olympia. He used to weight in this precise picture 269. He did not come actually in this shape. He shed another 12 pounds to be diced, and he did not want to shock us, although he came in at 257, which was unheard of for a Mr. Olympia, and he smoked everybody. Now, this picture showcases one strength and one weakness. His biceps suck. Can we agree on that? No peak, no sweep, no impressive belly whatsoever. Genetically not gifted. This was prior to the injury. He injured his left biceps, as you guys know, in 94. But so that is a weakness. I mean, Jay Cutler will smoke him in that department, no doubt about it. However, look at the forearms. Forearms are crazily big. That of Dorian Yates. They were the biggest of his era, right? I mean, they were just humongous. But this picture again, just to showcase a weakness and a strength. There is another weakness. His legs never showcased the depth. I mean, the details that you can see in that of Jay Cutler, meaning feathers and striations. Never had them, so they're good for his time. But we'll come to this gentleman right here. This was 2001. To showcase the biceps of this gentleman. And to be noted, he also injured his biceps, as you guys know, in the late years, and hindered basically his success, right? But his biceps was definitely better, so this is a strength of Mr. Jay Cutler. This is a crab pose, right? It is almost textbook, one of my favorite of all time. He gets it so right, he can put a patent on it. Whereas Mr. Yates will arrive to him right here. Him and also Ronnie Coleman, a big version or this small version, do not get it right. I mean, the flow, I mean, it does not, there's no separation clearly between the delts, the biceps, the brachialis, the baby obliques, and certainly not the triceps. So if we go back to Mr. Cutler textbook, this is a superiority of this most muscular pose. Talking about another most muscular pose, the joined hand. This is close, very close. Look at him. Both get it right. And you know what? Cutler does not do it that much. I mean, find pictures. Usually he does the crab because he knows it is a take-home pose. He smokes pretty much everybody. He was killing Phil Heath. Even versus Ronnie Coleman, he was just superior. However, this one is pretty much a tie in my reckoning. Let's proceed though, where Cutler is pretty much invincible. I mean, I said it before. I mean, the striations, the legs. By the way, his nickname is a cut above, and cuts does he have in these freaking wheels, bro. He was killing pretty much everybody. This here, actually, this picture was taken, if I'm not mistaken, there were Kai Green to the left and Phil Heath to the right. He was just compared with, of course, he won that year. And it became like a milestone picture. Next thing you know, it was on every freaking magazine cover because he was so good. So good. So he smoked everybody. The legs all day, every day, and even on a daily. Jay, the cut above Cutler. You can't beat him in the legs. So can we all agree? Knock your head, say yes, LUI, you are right. He is just superior when it comes to the legs compared to Mr. Dorian Yates. Not a freaking doubt about it, right? And his calves are not bad. Now, they're not as big, as impressive as that of Yates, because it is exceptional, that of Yates, but can we all agree that those of Cutler are freaking not bad? Not bad, right? So that's about it. This is the comparison I made with these two guys. They have, some good strength, some weaknesses. The thing is, can you all agree, and I also made a video about it, that this gentleman right here has no weakness. Has no weakness. Of course, there are certain guys who have better features than him, like Yates has definitely a better back than him, but Yates has a better back than everybody. The thing is that of Cutler is still top 5 of the world, ever. Right now, Yates has a better calf development than that of Jay Cutler, but that of Jay Cutler is freaking not bad too. You cannot ding him. So the thing is, Jay Cutler is hard to find a weakness. You cannot ding him. In my reckoning, he's the most complete Mr. Olympia. Let me repeat that once again. He is the most complete Mr. Olympia. If you take a look at Ronnie Coleman, unfortunately, he has some weaknesses. He has his midsection is just a 4-pack. He has no calves. You can ding that. Even Phil Heath right now has no striations in the legs. You can ding him for that. Or, Dorian Yates, he has no striations also on the legs. However, this guy, everything is perfect. Be my guest, try to pinpoint a weakness in the physique of Jay Cutler. Hard to do. So in my reckoning, he's the most complete Mr. Olympia we ever had. Salute you wherever you are. Don't forget to like the video if you agree. Subscribe to the LUI. It's a good option too. And tell me what you guys think about it.